What's up, guys? Wade Willis here for my playthrough of Umineko. This is Chapter 4, Part 14. It's getting absolutely wild here. We have Kinzu, who set people up in a prison. How did they get here? Where is the prison? Is he lying about where it is? Why did he leave a phone in here for them to call people? There's just so many questions that we have. And guys, I'm here for it. I'm excited. We have just so much craziness right now. And yeah, guys, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for tons of When They Cry content. And yeah, let's just get into it, guys. Oh yeah, okay, so we're back to Ainge. Oh yeah, she's on the wild goose chase right now.
階段足元に気をつけてな。急だぞ。
I went down a steep staircase that was the exact opposite of accessible. It was getting hard to believe that there were actually a chest of drawers and TV in a room upstairs. Most of the floor was a bedding store, with many futons piled up on each other. We weaved our way through the cramped futon shop. After cautiously checking around outside, Amakusa dashed out first and started up the car.
孫の部屋が空いとる。泊まって行っても構わんのに。見ての通り、布団なら有り余っとるぞ。
ありがとうございます。万一の時、ご迷惑はかけられませんので。
事情は知らんが、
okay, yeah, this is the captain.
相当な厄介に巻き込まれてるようだな。うさんくさい連中が人探しをしていると噂になっとる。あんたのことじゃないのかね？
そう。
Angie played dumb, but it looked as though the boat captain had guessed.
わしは六軒島を目指す客人を送り届け、そして迎えに行き、連れ帰ることがその仕事を12年前に中断したまま、まだ終えてない。だからわしは、あんたのおかげでその仕事をようやく終えることが。だから、わしにその仕事を、わかってるな。
ええ。別に私は死にに行くんじゃない。
But part of me does feel that if I could die on that island, I'd surely be able to go where my family is. I've finally become aware of it. I might have been planning to die on that island. I might have come all this way, heading towards Rokunjima in search of a place to die. The boat captain had guessed that as well. That's why he repeatedly told me not to die.
ええ、死にません。約束します。そもそも私。
In this series, it's not good to promise that.
どうして六軒島に行かなくてはならないのかの目的さえ、未だには。
いや、目的はきっとある。あんたにないなら、それは島があんたを呼んだ。だからあんたはここまで来たんだ。
I totally forgot about this too. I thought he was just being a creeper trying to get her to sleep in his house.
呼ばれたのかもしれない。
I was called. For what reason? For them, father, mother, Battler Oni-chan, and Maria Oni-chan. Or maybe the Golden Witch, Beatrice. What is on Rokunjima? And what will I achieve? Even though tomorrow is finally almost here, I still haven't been able to understand my own mission. There was the sound of a car stopping in front of the store, and a short honk could be heard.
それでは明日、失礼します。
You think she might wear like a disguise or something? Winding between the stacks of futons in the cramped store, I was about to go outside. Then my feet stopped.
どうしたね？
あれは？
あれ？はて。
Trembling all over, I pointed at it. But no matter how much the boat captain squinted, he noticed absolutely nothing in the direction that should have surprised me. That must mean...
ありえない。 して。
ウリュウ、
What the hell is it?
どうして、どういうことなのこれは。
私にだってさっぱりだわ。そんなバカなことってあるの？これは魔法なの？奇跡なの？ええ、多分これは運命よ。私は今、これが私の使命だったのよ。
ウリュウ、私には何が何だか。
Let me know what it is, damn it! Shaking, I pointed into the thin darkness inside the store and froze up.
どうしたんだね。何があるんだね。わからん。わしにはわからん。
I mean, this dude is old as dirt.
あんたには何が見えてるのかね。
ありがとう、船長。全部これは運命だったんです。ここに私が訪れることさえ運命だった。これが私が六軒島へ行く目的で使命なんです。
園児さん、どうしました？トラブルですか？
Well, I'd like to know what it is.
わしにもさっぱりわからん。お嬢ちゃんが暗がりを指さしたまま固まっちまったんだ。
園児さん、大丈夫ですか？何が見えるんですか？
あなたたちには見えないの？それよ、それ。見えないの？
見えるのはただの陳列棚です。誰も言いやしませんぜ。
ウリュウ、エンジェ、僕には何が何だか。これは夢なの？魔法なの？どういうことなの？エンジェ。
Secretary lifted his face towards Angie. From his eyes, shed a single tear. Oh, is it his? I wonder if it's his body.
理解したわ、お姉ちゃん。そしてベアトリーチェ。
ウリュウ、
This is magic, isn't it? Could you let me know what the fuck it was? Talk about blue balling me, Jesus. Sheesh. Dude, I'm gonna have to play another like 3 hours just to find out what she saw. Once again, there was a call from Kraus to the guest house, and the message was that Kinzo wanted to hold a test to see if the grandchildren had the qualifications to become his successor.
当主様は次期当主をお父さんたちの兄弟からではなく孫たちの中から選びたいとそうおっしゃっている。
From Kraus's restrained style of speech, Jessica realized that his daughter was being forced to speak, and she was forced to realize that the hostages were being exposed to danger even now. And that if they refused this test, there would be a possibility that the hostages would be harmed. Well, yeah.
それで
Just play
私たち
along.
はどうすればいいの？
待て。
Kraus put down the receiver and then looked at the grinning Kinzo on the other side of the bars. Kinzo gave his next order.
テストの前に無関係なものを排除しなくてはならない。ゴーダと熊沢がそこにいるのであろう。テストに干渉されては邪魔なのでな。彼らをゲストハウスより追放せよ。
I'm sure they're gonna enjoy that.
追放ですか？
バラ庭園に園芸倉庫があったはず。
Yo, freaking last place I want to go to is
そ
in
こ
that
へゴーダと熊
gardening
沢を閉
store.
じ込めて施錠せよ。まずはそれからだ。直ちに遂行するように伝えよ。我が文具たちが監視する疑わしい行為に及べば、テストは直ちに中止し、お前たちすべてを生贄として処刑する。
わかりました。もしもしジェシカ、今から父さんの言うことをよく聞きなさい。
Kraus relayed the orders to lock up Goda and Kumasawa.
どんなテストをなさるつもりですか？
Tic-tac-toe.
ああ、実に簡単なテストだとも。孫たちの覚悟を見せてもらうだけだ。さて、どんな結果を見せてくれるのか。
Looking disgusted, Kyrie watched Kraus, who was talking with the children. I hate it, but for now, we cannot refuse orders. In this dungeon, a feeble resistance won't amount to anything. If we provoke him too much and drive him into the position where he might kill us, there will be no longer any way to stop this murder. For now, the only choice left is to obey his rules without agitating him. All the while waiting for an opportunity. However, if we continue to obediently follow his commands, the children might be attacked in this so-called test that they might even lose their lives. Whether we feign obedience or try to resist, nothing will cause this situation to improve. Anyway, straining our eyes so that we don't let a single chance escape until the very end is the only resistance possible now. While telling yourself this, Kyrie watched over Kraus as he delivered Kinzo's orders.
キリエさん、ここは辛抱しましょ
う。分かってるわ。悔しいけれど、今は待つしかない。この鉄格子さえ何とかできれば、私たちは屋敷へ戻ることができるんだから。
なんとかここを出られれば、試してみましょう。金蔵さん、頼みがある。何か。
He's like, can I borrow a saw real quick?
金蔵さんが子供たちを試したいというのはよくわかった。金蔵さんの納得のいくようにするといい。金蔵さんの力がなければとっくに潰れていたかもしれない後ろ宮家だ。その担い手を慎重に選びたい気持ちよくわかる。それにそのための親族会議だ。私ら邪魔はせんよ。お前の理解が得られて、そうだ。これは親族会議な。私が次期当主を選び決定する最後の親族会議なの。それでだが金蔵さん、あんたのテストの邪魔はせんから、もう少し暖かい場所に移してもらうことはできんかね。
At Nandra's words, the slight signs of Kinzo's mood had been improving were blown away. Nandra was struck with a moment of silence as Kinzo gazed at him with dangerous eyes, as though appraising him.
確かにここは冷えますね。老体にはおつらいでしょう。
They just give him blankets.
上の部屋に移し替えても良いのでは。
それはできぬ。甘いぞ南條。お前は一手猶予を与えるような素振りで実に華麗に布石を打つではない。その手には乗らんぞ。凍えるというなら真っ赤に焼けた石炭でも敷き詰めてやればよい。
申し訳ございません。
Virgilia had tried to help out, but in the end, Kinzo would not comply.
あなたたちはおとなしいのね。その気になれば。こんな鉄格子簡単に破れるでしょう。
ここを破ったとて何もなりません。
確かにここを破ったならゴールドスミスのゲームが終わることを意味する。あなたたちも、そしてゲストハウスの人間たちも即座に金蔵の儀式の生贄となるでしょうね。でも
あなたたちだけかもしれないわよ。この状況を打開できる力を持っているのは。ね？黄金鏡にたどり着きたいんでしょ？叶えたい夢がいっぱいあるんでしょ？
That noise was so extra.
挑発はいけませんよ。これはあなたのゲームではない。親方様の、そしてお嬢様のゲームです。
どうしたロノウェイ？
いえいえ、何も。捕虜とおしゃべりをしていました。お許しを。
Drops that one final sneering smile at Cannon and then turned away. Cannon could only bite his lower lip and shake his fist. I mean, yeah, they could easily break through those bars with their magic. They could...
よく頑張ったね。よく我慢したよ。
They had those damn sword things that attach to their arm.
僕たちは無力アグだから。
そうだね。私たちは無力。でも家具は必要とされることだって、そして愛されることだってあるよ。今の私たちは暗い地下室にしまわれているだけ。きっといつか誰かが愛してくれる、必要としてくれるから。だから今は挑発に乗らないで耐えようね。
お父さん、ゴーダたちを倉庫に閉じ込めるよう指示をしました。
よかろう。電話を切ってよい。シエスタ姉妹、孫たちがゴーダと熊沢を閉じ、もしも不審な動きがあるようならば、その時点で次期当主を選ぶテストは終了だ。
When Kinzo made his order, the Cheister sisters appeared behind him in line.
了解であります。石膏は私がやる。556と410は両翼支援。45は全周警戒。
00-556は。
そうだった。すまない。
いい子でした。
Wait, what?
だから私は嫌いに。いいやつは。
何をしているかシエスタ姉妹。
Jesus,
我
Kinzo.
が命令を遂行せよ。
失礼しました。では、監視に向かうであ
So
ります。
one of their sisters is like dead or something?
出撃！
The Cheister sisters erased their forms simultaneously. Nanjo and Kyrie had witnessed the instant they appeared and disappeared as if by teleportation. But they interpreted this as moving in and out of the darkness in the way they only looked like teleportation, and the two could do nothing but rub their eyes.
さて、私はテストの準備をしよう。ロノウェイ、ガープ、お前たちには試験官を頼む。ワルギリアはこやつらを監視するように。何しろ我が家具が2人いる。一応は警戒せよ。
He glanced at Shannon and Cannon. Tightly closing her eyes, Shannon gave a silent bow and answered wordlessly, avoiding any unnecessary actions.
かしこまりました。注意します。リーアの老体には寒くて辛くない？湯たんぽでも持ってくる？うるさいです。早く追いきなす、ガップ。
さてさて、テストとは、そして試験官とは、今回のゲームは変わった試みですね。お嬢様を楽しませる展開になると良いのですが。
さあさあおいでなさい、ヤギの従者たち。
Regalia began to call out in the darkness, and from that spot, 3 massive goat-headed attendants suddenly appeared.
リーチェの眷属ね。便利だわ。しかも暖かそうだし。ああ、湯たんぽの代わりね。なら、ヤギより羊の方がいいんじゃない？
カシミヤ臓器のくせにうるさいですよ。彼らは賢くはありませんが、命令に忠実で強靭な頼れる従者たちです。
任せるぞ。我が友ワルギリアへ。残りの者は私と来い。
With a dignified gesture, Kinzo fluttered his cloak. I said something else. Following him were Rona and Goth, as well as the 3 recently summoned goat attendants.
あなたたちは私と残るのですよ。ついていかないように。
The goats jumped in surprise and then came tottering back. Kyrie, who had been watching stunned as all of this played out, couldn't help but snort.
愉快な部下ね。ゴールドスミス教より死後の許可は与えられていませんよ。
She is probably embarrassed. Virgilia had spoken coolly, but Kyrie saw through that, and for a little while she couldn't restrain her muffled laughter. However, on the inside, Kyrie was surprised at the number of people Kinzo had with them. After all, including Kinzo himself, at least 10 enemies had already been spotted. The dungeon they were currently locked in was supposedly underneath the hidden mansion called Kuadorian. Although this mansion had been whispered of, not even Kraus had known of this existence until today. There are actually several facilities like this on Rokujima, where many unknown henchmen... Oh, are there? It's a question that only Kinzo knows of hide. Just how many humans are on Rokujima locked away by the typhoon? No, on the contrary, we were the only ones under the impression that there were only 18 people on the island? Were we who bickered over whether Beatrice existed or not, and worried about whether a 19th person existed or not? Nothing more than frogs in a well on this island? No, wait, not only that. By now there are actually more people on the enemy side than ours.
何が起こってるの？一体。魔女？悪魔？魔法？それを信じろというの？
Damn too.
おかしいのは私の目？それとも頭なの？頭がどうにかなりそうよ。
A mass murder by magic. Demons forming and disappearing into thin air. Setting aside the enemy's numbers. How should we interpret the various things thrust upon our eyes that cannot be explained with the common sense of our world? Kyria started to feel like she didn't know what was going on anymore, and while desperately battling the urge to abandon everything and give up, she grit her teeth and tried to hold on to her sanity. Obviously, Goda and Kumasawa were quite unwilling to be locked in the Rose Garden shed, but they were threatened that if they resisted, the hostages' safety could not be guaranteed. It was fairly hard to get them to agree, but once they started thinking that their safety might actually be guaranteed if the key to the gardening storehouse was handed to them after being shut inside, and when it was decided that blankets and food would be carried in for them, they were finally convinced. Everyone else's safety is at risk. Oh my god. You know what would be nice? To actually live. I don't care if I'm cold. Probably better than to be warm and get butchered.
月曜の朝まで丸々一昼夜はいてもらうことになるかもしれない。本当にお二人には申し訳なく思うよ。
George and Battler cleared space on the floor. Then they spread the blankets there. They also left the canned food, crackers, and the other light snacks they had brought.
月曜の朝までを二人でこの量じゃ辛いな。せめて厨房に寄れたなら。
余計な場所には行くなと言われてる。私たちは監視されてるらしいしな。くそ。
何もお力になれないことを。申し訳こんな時に皆さんのおそばにいてこその私どもなのに。
仕方ないです。それより熊沢さんをよろしく頼みますね。何が起こるかわからない。いざという時は 臨機応変に助けてほしい。そして何よりも無事でいてほしい。
ええ、分かっています。皆さんこそ気をつけてくださいね。今の親方様はまるで人の命をチェスの駒のように奪います。気をつけてください。
Go to stare to the floor, even now unable to believe that what had happened as he remembered that atrocity in the dining hall, and he hung his head in shame at his failure to fully describe that terror.
ありがとう。くれぐれも注意してくださいね。熊沢さんも。
ジョージさんたちもくれぐれももう私には何が何やらさっぱりわかりませんとも。
それじゃあ僕たちは行きます。行こう、バトラ君、ジェシカちゃん。ほら、マリアちゃんも。
My bet would be on Maria winning, to be honest. Looking at the pitiful expressions on the imprisoned pair's faces, it got really hard to close the shutter. But we cannot disobey. We're being watched. The shutter was brought down and locked. Then George walked toward the small window on the side of the storehouse. At that side there was a small lattice window that could only admit light and ventilation. It looked like something from a jail, making the two of them seem even more pitiable. But on the other hand, it would hopefully protect them from Kinzo and his subordinates. He opened the window and called out.
大丈夫ですか？寒くないですか？
ええ。毛布をこんなにいただきましたからね。くるまっていればきっと平気ですよ。
石油ストーブとかを持ってくればよかったな。
ここじゃ換気できないからね。
Yeah, they would freaking die.
辛いだろうけど今は仕方がない。僕たちは人質を取られている。逆らえない。
Well, it's not snowing, so I mean, I bet it's probably in the 50s, maybe. No, it's probably the 50s, and they have all those blankets. They'll be fine.
キリエさんたちを救出することができれば。
They can cuddle too.
聞かれてるかもしれないよ。ゴーダさん、これそのシャッターの鍵です。
確かにお預かりします。
Yoda took the key, showed it to Kumasama, and placed it in his own pocket. That's probably going to be important. There's only one key to the gardening shed shutter. That key was being held by the ones locked up inside it. If the children had kept it, and it was stolen by them by some chance, that would do nothing but expose the lives of those in the shed to danger. Even with the key, the shutter could not be opened from the inside. Kinzo's demands were fulfilled this way. However, there was no longer any way to open the shed from the outside either. This protected them. Kinzo had ordered that they be confined and could do nothing but trust this cold, closed room would protect them. Jessica watched this while holding Maria's hand, then looked over to the thickets in the black rose garden. Somewhere in this darkness, somebody was hiding, watching to see whether they obeyed her orders or not. Of course, when we pointed our flashlights out there, no suspicious silhouettes appeared. But somebody was surely out there, hiding and watching. I was hit many times with the urge to scream at them, but I was able to hold that urge back through reason. The four children left the area, repeatedly looking back over their shoulders. The light from the faint light bulb in the gardening storehouse was seeping out slightly. I wonder if this insane incident will come to end somehow, so that we can meet those two again. To George, who had closed the shutter himself, the resistance of the lock had made it feel as though he'd killed himself with his own hands.
それでも俺たちは逆らえないんだよな。
テストだとクソじじいめ、
ふざけやがって。それで母さんたちが殺されて父さんたちが捕まって理解できねえぜ。ぶっ殺してやる。
大丈夫だよジェシカお姉ちゃん、悲しくなんかないよ。
Oh my god.
マリア、
もうすぐ魔女は蘇る。すぐに黄金鏡で会えるよ。
Did Battler smack her?
不謹慎なことで笑うんじゃねえぜ。何が魔女復活の儀式だ。妄想はじいさまの頭の中だけにしときゃいいものを大勢巻き込みやがって。こいつは高くつくぜ。
ゲストハウスに戻ろう。おじいさまから電話があった際に不在だったらまずい。
Urged on by George, everyone began to walk towards the guest house. At that moment, Jessica turned in a circle, facing towards the darkness of the rose garden, and roared.
おい、誰か見てんだろ。ジジイに伝えとけ。絶対にぶち殺してやるってな。いいか。
Of course, there was no reply, only the howl of wind and rain. The children returned to the guest house, while fearing what was waiting them up ahead. Kinzo would probably laugh hearing about that. I don't even think he would be, like, offended. After they left, from the exact point in the darkness that Jessica had yelled at, 2 rabbit ears sprung up.
45がすっとろいたらバレたに。竜王様に怒られる。ごめんなさいごめんなさい。竜王様に言いつけるのは許してください。
黙れ静かに。どうせハッタリだ。ゴーダと熊沢の監禁は確認した。任務完了。報告に戻るぞ。連帯責任で人参と水だけの刑になりたいか。行くぞ。
The fact that they were being watched certainly seemed to be true, because when they returned to the cousin's room, the lights turned on and laid on their beds. The phone rang again. Earlier, Jessica had been answering the phone, seeing it as this was her house, but now it was the eldest George who picked it up. This time, Kyrie was on the other end of the line. George handed it to Battler out of consideration.
もしもし、キリエさんか。そっちは大丈夫なのか。
心配をありがとう。今のところは快適よ。ごめんなさい。死後は慎めと命令されてる。今から伝えることをよく聞いて。
The fact that they were hostages still hadn't changed. Kinzo, or one of his subordinates, was listening to the conversation. Battler restrained the urge to talk about other things and focus on what Kyrie had to say.
テストはジェシカちゃん、ジョージ君、バトラ君、そしてマリアちゃんの順で行われるそうよ。順番に呼び出すから、それまでその部屋を出ないこと。呼び出された者は一人で指定された場所に向かうこと。
Battler repeated out loud so that the cousins listening around him could hear.
ジェシカ、兄貴、俺、マイヤの順で呼び出しがあるまで部屋にいろ。だな、わかった。
So is it the order of, I guess the power in the family?
マリアもなのかや。9歳の子にまで。クソジジイは何を強いる気なんだ。
後ろ宮家の命運はあなたたちに握られてるわ。頑張って。
I feel actually the least comfortable about Jessica doing well, but maybe she'll Also, because she made it super far last time, and they might nerf her. Battler noticed a strange nuance in Kyrie's words. Even without any blood connection, he could still understand thanks to the long-lasting bond they shared. At this point, it doesn't make any sense to worry about the Ushiromi family itself. That probably wasn't the message Kyrie wanted to send. She probably meant to say, there's no way for us to escape from this dungeon, and we can only wait to be rescued. Our lives are in your hands. Something like that. That's a great guess.
任せてくれ。どんなテストか知らねえが上等だぜ。受けて立ってやら。本気のテストなんだよな。マジにやっちまって。いいんだよな。
ええ、本気のテストよ。おじい様も本気で試すつもりでいるわ。
ダメだな。全然ダメだぜ。死にかけの老いぼれが、俺と本気？寝言は棺に入ってから言いやがれ。そこにいるジジイに言っとけ。次期当主は俺だ。その最初の仕事は、てめえの面に鉄拳ぶち込んでやることだってな。
Even without Kyrie having to repeat it, Battler's powerful declaration of war reached Kinzo's ears. Yeah, I knew he would love it.
バトラー、それは実に楽しみであるぞ。一度は後ろ宮の名を捨てた男が何を身につけ、何の境地に至って我が前に現れるというのか、楽しみにしている。そう伝えよ。
Unfortunately, Keen's voice was not picked up by the receiver. Therefore, Kyrie spoke for him.
大いに上等だそうよ。いい？バトラ君。手加減は不要よ。あなたはルドルフさんの息子。いいえ、私の息子よ。誰に自慢しても恥ずかしくないところを、私にも見せてちょうだい。あなたに全てを託すわ。
了解だぜ、母ちゃん。あとは任せておけ。
私たち全員は当主跡継ぎの資格を失って、もう私たちは取られてゲーム版から外された駒も同然よ。だからあなたたちだけで戦って。
キリエさん。
The nuance of those words about we've already given up, so forget about us. But for that very reason, I won't give up. I'll definitely crush this test or whatever and save everyone.
それでは、一番最初のジェシカちゃんへのテストの指示よ。自分の部屋へ行けですって。
自分の部屋？
お屋敷のジェシカちゃんの自室って意味のよね。
ジェシカに代わる。直接伝えてやってくれ、ジェシカ。
はい。わかりました。
私からか。もう覚悟決めたぜ。行ってくるぜ。
Even Jessica was probably tempted to succumb to the fear of a girl at her age, but she crushed her feelings and strengthened her resolve.
用心してね。
私たちは監視されてんだろ。
Her like actual social skills are better than everyone else, or like she seems like she's more of a connector. But anything that's a test, I don't feel comfortable with her doing well at all.
言いなりになるしかないさ。
食堂でジジイは何のためらいもなく、それは俺たちに対しても同じかもな。
分かってる。返り討ちにしてやるぜ。
無茶はダメだよ。危険だと思ったら自分を最優先にして、クラウスおじさんが自分のために娘が犠牲になったことを知ったら、 胸が張り裂けてしまうに違いないから。
逆も同じだぜ。父さんと母さんが殺されて、私だけが生き残ったら、私の胸だって張り裂けるぜ。
Well.
バトラ君、さっきの話は本当だよね。
I find it almost extremely unlikely that Kraus makes it through.
なら、なおのこと上等だぜ。みんなの命は私たちの双剣にかかってるってことだ。人質みんなは囚われの身で何もできない。なら、私たちが何とかするしかねえんだぜ。
もし何かあったらゲストハウスに逃げ戻って、その時点で僕たちがおじい様のゲームに付き合うのは終了だ。
兄貴。
その時点で僕たちは宣戦布告、どこかに閉じ込められている彼らを救い出し、おじい様には叱るべき処遇を与える。
いいのか兄貴、シャノンちゃんもいるんだろ。
だからといって僕は座して婚約者が殺されるのを待ちはしないよ。
So beautiful.
僕が恐ろしいのは、おじい様にシャノンが僕の婚約者に恐怖を味わわせたクソじじいを君らが僕より先にぶん殴っちまうことだけさ。
Savage.
なるほどな。確かにこいつは次期当主が誰かを決めるってテストらしいぜ。
だな。クソじじいの顔面に一番最初に拳をお見舞いしたやつが次の当主だぜ。
Then Jessica headed off into her own room as designated, her form disappearing into the darkness of the rose garden, waving in the strong winds. Watching her go, George and Ballard gripped their fists even tighter, making them quiver. Left on the second floor, Maria watched Jessica back through the window. She wore a blank expression.
みんなは何を息巻いてるのかな。ベアトリーチェが蘇れば、みんな生き返らせてもらえるのにね。
Jessica's form was already being completely swallowed up by the darkness. At that time, the phone began to ring again. Battler and George heard it and came clamoring back, but Maria picked up the receiver right away.
もしもし。
マリア様ですか？シャノンです。ジョージ様に代わっていただけますか？
This time it was Shannon on the phone. And this time the message was to tell the next person, George, where he was to go. Uh-oh. Spooky. I'm scared. Of course, since the time of her birth, Jessica had been raised in this mansion. The atrophied western style of the house that the cousins called the mansion was her home. And yet, she never understood her cousin's feelings as much as she did today. At the same time, she never felt her own home, which she knew well, to be as alien as it seemed now. Her own room. This had once been her hideaway, the only place in the vast mansion where she could feel at peace. However, she had never felt as much pressure coming from the door as she did now.
テストだって。一体何が待ち受けてやがるんだ。まさか私の机とか引っかき回してねえだろうな。
Girl, I think that's the least of your worries. She acted tough trying to deceive herself. Trying to make herself believe that she wasn't scared of anything. Ridding herself, she opened the door to her room. Hello? When she saw that, fortunately, the room didn't appear to be messed up, she relaxed. No one was there. Of course. There was nowhere for anyone to hide here. Right away, Jessica locked the door behind her. This way, the room is safe. Is it, though? She peeked into the bed and closet, but of course, no one was hiding. She looked at the clock. It was just past 11:10. As her attention lessened, the fatigue came back to her entire body. She realized how messed up this whole day had been. It was still about 2300. The plan had been for all the cousins to gather, have fun playing around, and talk animatedly about various things together on the night. Normally, we would have done that kind of thing right now. Why has it turned into this?
全部あのクソジジイのせいだ。よくも母さんをみんなを。
She shook her head back and forth with anger and sadness. But there was no one here to direct those emotions at. Because of the lock, the room's security was guaranteed. Is it, though? Remembering that one more time, Jessica somehow regained her calm. If it keeps up like this and nothing happens, I want to go to the dining hall and see Mom's dead face, even though Goda emphasized so strongly that it was gruesome and that I definitely shouldn't go to look at it. Yeah, that's going to be disturbing. I wouldn't see her face at the end. But we were warned repeatedly that stepping out of line, even a little, would put the hostages in danger. Could it be that licking the door was also against the... Locking the door. Jesus Christ. Oh, if I close myself up in here, I alone might be saved. But if I don't open it, it'll surely be against the rules. Dad, Cannon, Shannon, Aunt Kyrie, and Dr. Nanjo will be killed. There's no way the scales will balance out between the 5 lives and my own life. Jessica tightly shut her eyes, resisting the other part of herself that said, isn't it okay as long as I stay alive? Alright, I'm stopping here since I'm saying... Oh my gosh. Oops. Since I keep saying words wrong, I'm way more tired than I expected. But yeah. Decent episode. To be honest, not much happened. So we have one of these every once in a while. I'm hoping for some crazy stuff to happen in the next one. It looks like we are going to have that because the pump is really primed for a lot of action to happen. Or just psychological terror to occur as well. So I'm here for it. And yeah, let me know what you guys thought about the episode in the comments below.